I truly believe it's something in the village. Devastated partner of missing mother Nicola Bulley insists she is going to come home as he reveals they had spoken about marriage and planned for their 2 little girls to be bridesmaids. Nicola Bulley's partner today insisted that she is coming home as he launched a fresh appeal in the 2-week search for the missing mother, who he had been planning to marry with his daughters as her bridesmaids. Paul Ansell spoke in a program on Channel 5 on Friday, asking anyone with information to come forward, saying he believes something must have happened to his partner in the village of St. Michael's on Wire. Mr. Ansell said he is 100% sure that the mortgage advisor, 45, did not fall in the River Wire in Lancashire during an interview filmed for Vanished, whereas Nicola Bulley ? And Oppos. Lancashire police were invited to appear on the program but declined to do so. Nicola Bulley, a mother of 2, disappeared 2 weeks ago while walking the family's dog along the River Wire. She was last seen at 9:10 a.m. by a fellow dog walker. Her partner revealed on Friday that they had frequently spoken about getting married, but had to put their plans on hold due to the pandemic, adding he hopes to be able to still marry her. Mr. Ansell told journalist Dan Walker they had spoken about marriage many times before but put plans on hold when they had their 2 daughters. He said Nicola had hoped they could be bridesmaids. He added, "We talked about it again seriously at the beginning of 2020. And that was when we really started to actually look at getting something sort of in the calendar. And then obviously the whole COVID thing hit, which just, everybody's life was just thrown up into the air. He is now hoping for Ms. Bulley to return home safely and they can still plan a wedding for the future." Mr. Ansell confirmed he does not believe she fell into the River Wire, but says someone in the village must know something. He said the river path, which Ms. Bulley walked often, was about as well known a walk to us as you could possibly do, adding, "On the very odd occasion when you see somebody that you don't know, they stand out like a sore thumb. So whatever has happened, in my eyes, has to be somebody who knows the local area. And the fact that nothing's been seen or heard, I just truly believe that it's something in the village." Mr. Ansell's theory is in direct contradiction to the stance of Lancashire police, who say Ms. Bulley most likely fell into the cold water while wearing 2 heavy coats and drowned. After searching the river, they have begun looking out to sea in Morecambe Bay. Leading underwater searchers have publicly stated they do not believe Ms. Bulley is in the river after conducting extensive searches. Appearing on the program, ex-police officers stress the need to keep all options open and continue communicating with the public and the press. Speaking to 5 News' Dan Walker, Mr. Ansell vowed to never let go, adding Nikki would never give up on us ever. "She wouldn't give up on anybody, and we're not going to ever give up on her. We're going to find her." He described his partner as a pillar of strength to our family, adding that without her there is a hole which is bigger than you can possibly imagine. Mr. Ansell described the morning before Ms. Bulley disappeared and said he even took beloved dog Willow back to the scene to see if she would provide any hints as to where his partner went. On January 27th, the family followed their morning routine, and the only thing which was different was that it wasn't quite as rushed to get the children off to school. Nothing was out of the ordinary. Everything was normal. He described how it was Ms. Bulley's turn to drive their children and walk dog Willow, usually returning home at 10 a.m. at a push in Oppos. At 10:30 a.m., Mr. Ansell said he became increasingly worried and called her mobile several times, but received no answer, leading him to get a bit panicky. He changed clothes and was about to rush down to the river when his daughter's school's receptionist rang him and informed him Willow and Ms. Bulley's phone had been found on a bench near the river. He told Dan Walker, "I knew straight away that it wasn't normal," adding that he became extremely concerned knowing Ms. Bulley would not have left Willow alone in the field. "I know that never in a million years would she leave Willow. Willow is like our 3rd child." Mr. Ansell said people don't just vanish into thin air. It's absolutely impossible. So something has happened. Something has happened. Find out what it is. You cannot walk your dog down a river and just vanish into thin air. Mr. Ansell described searching for his partner with help from the members of the public, before being interviewed by police. He said, "I cannot fault the police in any of this. They have been incredible in Oppos." But he repeated that he and Ms. Bulley's family do not believe she fell into the river given that no trace of her has been found, adding the phone and harness at the scene could be a decoy. I'm 100% convinced it's not the river. The only thing we're bothered about is finding her. Nothing else matters. Mr. Ansell said the most obvious thing, of course, has always been the river. It's always been my gut instinct and her sisters and family that isn't the case. Extensive searching, as you know, is probably well aware, has gone on in that river. Peter Falding said the River Wire was searched thoroughly by police divers on the day and that his own subsequent searches had also turned up nothing. The river was around 2 feet high at the edge on the day of her disappearance, and was barely moving, Mr. Falding said. He added he did not believe she was in the river, and that if she had simply fallen down the bank she could have just stood up in Oppos. Ms. Bulley had dropped off her daughters, aged 6 and 9, at school and was on her usual walk when she disappeared. Her phone, still connected to a call for her job as a mortgage advisor, was found on a bench overlooking the river. Despite a huge search of the river and surrounding countryside by Lancashire police, no trace of her has been found. Speaking about his partner, Mr. Ansell went on. She is fun. She is loving. If you're friends with her, she's the most loyal friend that you could ever have. With Nikki, what you see is what you get. Nothing's hidden. You know, it's all. That's her. And she is an exceptional mom, and she absolutely adores our girls. And goes above and beyond. Discussing the impact of Ms. Bulley's disappearance on his two daughters, Mr. Ansell said any parent knows that all you want to do this is make everything better for your children and Apos. He added, but I can't do that in Apos. He is instead focusing on keeping the worst of his worry at bay when he is with his daughters and attempts to distract them as much as possible. He said, the only thing that I can do is tell them that everybody is looking for Mummy. The best people like in the world are looking for Mummy. Just to give them that, you know, that level of hope that they can understand that everything that can be done to find Mummy is being done. And I just have to hope that that is enough, you know, for them, to sort of put them at rest at that particular moment before the questions come again. He added, I can't put those girls to bed again with no answers. Making a personal plea to Lancashire police and the public, Mr. Ansell said, I want every house, every garage, every outbuilding, the land scrutinized. I want it all searched. I want it all scrutinized, every piece of it. Anything, no matter how tiny, please just come forward with it. Please. Because that could be the key to finding her, and as a family, we are not bothered about anything else. There's nothing else. We just have to find her. That hope and that positivity in me is stronger than ever. And I'm never ever going to let go. Nikki would never give up on us. Ever. She wouldn't give up on anybody. And we are not going to ever give up on her. We're going to find her. She's going to come home. I can't let myself think of anything else. There's no other option in my head. As a family, we're not bothered about anything else. We just want to find her. He also thanked police and the public for their efforts to help find the missing mother. In a statement released on Friday, police said they are keeping an open mind about her disappearance, and in a marked softening of their language said they still believe the missing mother may have fallen into the river. But ex-Metropolitan Police Officer Mark Williams-Thomas said on the program he was really struggling with Lancashire Police's attitude towards the search and its media policy. He said, we shouldn't be here. The police should be here in a watchdog-style program appealing for evidence. He added, there are three theories they should have been looking at from the beginning. She walked off, she was taken, or she fell in the water. Lancashire Police released a statement on Friday saying they are keeping an open mind about Ms. Bulley's disappearance, but they added there is absolutely nothing in all the extensive inquiries we have made that suggests anything untoward has happened. It read, throughout this investigation we have been keeping an open mind about what might have happened to Nicola, and we continue to look at all the potential scenarios to eliminate them. We are reviewing our decisions regularly. Based on all the work we have done up to now, our belief remains that Nicola may have fallen into the river for some reason, but we are continuing to investigate all possible leads, and this involves viewing CCTV, dashcam footage and speaking to people who are providing us with information. It remains the case that at the present time there is absolutely nothing in all the extensive inquiries we have made that suggests anything untoward has happened or that there is any third-party involvement in Nicola's disappearance, but the investigation is ongoing. The force added, our priority throughout this investigation has been on finding Nicola and providing answers for her family. They continue to be supported and regularly updated by specially trained officers. Nicola and Paul have been together for 12 years and have 2 children together. He said they had often spoken about getting married. That was always the plan. We talked about it again seriously at the beginning of 2020. And then obviously the whole COVID thing hit, which everybody's life was just thrown up into the air. We still did talk about it, but then it was like, once this is over, we'll do it then. Friend Emma White told the program, you can't put into words the roller coaster we've been on. The heartache, the torture, the disbelief, washed down with this immense hope. She said, we are just waiting for and hoping for that good news. She's touched the nation, hasn't she? Everything you see and a little bit more is what she's like inside. She's the stuff that dreams are made of. Ms. White was adamant she was determined to bring Ms. Bulley home. We have to do everything to bring Nikki home and bring her home for her family. We need to bring Paul and the girls their rock home, their Nikki home. Ms. Bulley vanished while walking her Springer Spaniel dog Willow alongside the river Wyre in St. Michael's on Wyre on January 27. Focus of the police search on Thursday switched from St. Michael's to around 10 miles downstream where the river empties into the sea at Morecambe Bay, with police patrol boats and rescue boats spotted on the river and in the bay. It came as a diving expert, who led the hunt for the missing mother, claimed he has video proof she did not fall into the river. The mother of 2, 45, vanished while walking her dog Willow, at around 9:10 a.m. on January 27. Detectives believe she slipped into the river Wyre and drowned, but her loved ones have questioned this theory, saying there is no evidence whatsoever she fell into the body of water. Mr. Ansell told the Mirror on Friday it is the police's job to find the evidence that will let us know what has happened and where she is. If the current strategy and lines of inquiry are not working, it's time to do something different and expand out. What they've done so far is fantastic, but my only aim is to find Nikki, and as yet that's not happened. There's so much ground to cover that hasn't been searched yet. World-renowned forensic diving expert Peter Falding, who has worked on hundreds of cases with police, says a clip shows the river is slow moving, meaning her body would have sunk very quickly and remained near to where she fell in. The 60-year-old also claims she could have simply stood up if she had fallen in, as rocks by the bank would have only been under 2 feet of water at the time. Speaking of the video footage, Mr. Faulding added the log stayed at that point for 20 minutes, and it actually spiraled and went up 6 feet and came back to the same place. The river on the day was slightly higher, it was about a foot higher, but I'd be very surprised in my experience if she was there, as a body usually goes to the bottom very quickly. If Nicola slipped down the bank, she would have landed in about 2 feet of water but onto rocks, and she could have stood up. Peter, who runs Specialist Group International, SGI, led a sonar search for the Nicola in the river, which flows from the Forest of Bowland to Fleetwood and into the Irish Sea. But the group later called off its search, with the expert insisting they had done all they can to find the missing mother. Mr. Faulding has now called on the force to carry out a wider land search of outbuildings and sheds. On Wednesday, Peter took Nicola's shattered partner Paul Ansell to the bench where their dog, and her mobile phone, were found on the day she vanished. And the diving professional, who has solved hundreds of cases, said Paul now believes Nicola has not gone in that river 13 days after she was last seen. But the lack of a body raised hopes that she might still be alive. He said he's very upset and he was in tears yesterday. He's very emotional, obviously. He was shocked at how shallow the rocks were yesterday. He thought it was really deep there. If she had gone in, she would have landed on the rocks. The family thanked us for being here. They said you've given us confidence now, and his belief is that Nicola has not gone in that river. Peter added, we've gone about a mile upstream, which is way up the search area, and ruled there is nothing in that section of the river. If you start putting the pieces of the jigsaw together, it's very strange, and it would need an extremely strong current on the day to take her so quickly over the weir before the police arrived. And if she was floating, she would have been seen by the public, or landed elsewhere, and there's just no sign of this poor lady. Lancashire police is still working under the hypothesis the mortgage advisor slipped into the water and drowned. Friend of Nicola, Heather Gibbons, said it's the not knowing. Is she somewhere safe? Is she scared? The goal is to have her safe with her family. It's an agonizing wait, it's almost a hell above hell, because the unknown is unbearable. So, this morning at 10 o'clock we just opened the church for people to come and to light a candle, just to have a chance to come, a space to collect their thoughts, to be together. It's not a vigil in that we've lost hope, it's almost trying to create that moment of hope for everybody to keep supporting one another. We just needed a space to be able to think and pray and collect our thoughts for the family and for Nikki. There's been a lovely little turnout of people who just wanted to come and have that moment. The family are on the worst roller coaster of their lives. They are still holding on to hope that there's a chance we will get Nikki home safe. They have the same thinking that nothing is making sense. They are just desperate for some evidence that will pinpoint exactly what has happened. 2 boats with specialist police teams are now searching the coast off Morecambe Bay, around 20 miles from where Nicola was last seen, with police suggesting finding her in the open sea becomes more of a possibility. In Opos, this week it emerged investigators could be trying to trace a tatty red van parked near to where the mother of 2 vanished 2 weeks ago, after a witness reported it to police on 2 occasions. Detectives are also probing a 2-hour gap between Nicola's disappearance and the first call to police to report her missing. As it emerged, 3 key CCTV blind spots had been identified. The first call about her disappearance did not come until 11 a.m., leaving a near 2-hour window between her last sighting and officers beginning their search. Police admitted she could have left the area via a path not covered by cameras. But they, along with Nicola's friends and family, have issued an appeal to end speculation on social media by amateur sleuths, and stop attending the scene to film themselves and take photographs. The path in question leads to Garstang Road, which runs through the village, and is therefore a blind spot. Officers have been attempting to trace dashcam footage from 700 drivers who passed along the route at the time of her disappearance. Aside from the river itself, there are only 2 other exits from the area, one of which is covered by CCTV. Friends of the missing mother have claimed that CCTV covering the other exit, close to mobile home site Rowanwater, is not working. This camera would have covered the fields to the south of where Ms. Bulley was last seen. After reviewing other CCTV footage from within the mobile home site, police are confident that Nicola did not leave the field near the river via Rowanwater itself. Another blind spot is a riverside path leading from the Wireside Farm Caravan Park through to the A586. A camera at a house close to the path is also understood to have not been working at the time, but did not cover the exit regardless. Today it emerged that a private security firm had started patrolling the village where Ms. Bulley went missing to stop amateur sleuths from making TikTok videos as they try to solve the investigation. Spencer Sutcliffe Security are carrying out daily and nightly patrols in St. Michael's-on-Wyre after an influx of people from outside the village descended on the area. Several people have already been confronted by the uniformed security guards from the Lancaster-based company. The security guard owner, who is providing his services for free, said, "When the residents rang me, I thought, what an awful situation. They've already got the horror of what's happened, Plus nobody knows what's happened, and then they've got all these people trampling through their gardens, going through their sheds. When they're approached by some of the residents, they're becoming very aggressive towards them, and it's just not nice. So I've offered our services for free. I'll pay the staff out of my own pocket, and we're just going to try and give the residents a bit of reassurance that there's people out there looking after them, and work alongside the police. We're not trying to replace them in any way, but unfortunately, the police are understaffed and underfunded. Nicola is white, 5 feet 3 inches tall, with light brown shoulder-length hair. She speaks with an Essex accent. She was last seen wearing a long, knee-length black quilted gilet with a hood. She had a black Engelbert Strauss coat underneath which had long sleeves and came to her waist. She was wearing tight black jeans and had long green walking socks tucked into her jeans. She was wearing size 5 ankle-length green Wellington boots from Paul. Ansell's full interview will appear tonight on Vanished Where's Nicola Bulley? At 9 p.m. on Channel 5.